CEO from You Name It Specialties down in San Antonio, Josh King. How are you today, Josh?
I'm doing great, Jim. Just recovering from a trip, in Mexico, and back to the desk and doing some work.
That's right, that trip to Mexico. We'll talk a little bit about that, but you just joined us on the Platinum Elite trip, which is for truly the best of the best as far as salespeople or selling owners in your case. Within our Facilisgroup community, this is your second consecutive year joining us down in Mexico, but we had a blast, did we not?
We did. It was a great time. A lot of networking, a lot of spending time with our colleagues and making some friendships and lots of great stories.
Lots of stories that will not see the light of day. It's certainly not in this interview. So we'll keep those close to the vest. I love it. I just wanted to take a few minutes. I wanted to pick your brain, talk to you a little bit about, sort of your history in sales, your shift into, more ownership and leadership with your organization. Want to certainly shine a spotlight on your team and the culture that you have built at You Name It Specialties, which has been celebrated in ASI Counselor and things like that. So I want to get into a number of things, but let's just sort of start with the salesperson mentality. When did you know that you were sort of built for sales?
It would be when I was just a wee little lad. Back in the back of comic books, there would be advertisements from it was the Olympic greeting cards. And if you sold these greeting cards, you make a commission. So I must have been like 5 or 6, going going door to door selling greeting cards. It wasn't very lucrative because it was hard to sell, and I think you made $1. Like every sale you made $1. So didn't do that for very long, but it was very early on that I realized this is what I like to do.
That's great. So then that would be that was my follow-up question is what was the first product you've ever sold? I guess it was greeting cards from the back of the comic books.
Yeah, greeting cards. And like I mentioned, it wasn't that wasn't very lucrative. But in middle school, I did sell newspaper subscriptions door to door. Did that for a couple of years. So on weeknights in the evenings and on Saturdays, we drive to another city. So I know parents out there would be freaking out if their kid was picked up by some man in a van and dropped off on a street corner and picked up an hour later in the days before cell phones. So I look back and I'm like, man, how did my parents let me do that? But it was walking the streets, going door to door.
Wow, I love that. Well, it obviously has paid off. Just last year, you were named a finalist for ASI Sales Person of the Year. And at the time, you were quoted as saying that your greatest accomplishment in sales is creating a substantial book of business from nothing. So again, you were going door to door as a child, but cold calling accounts and convincing them that they should work with you, that was never sort of an issue for you, it sounds like. Tell me a little bit about how you have maintained that quality book of business over the years.
I really just keeping in touch. Back in my newspaper subscription days, I wasn't afraid of rejection. It was, hey, if you're going to tell me no, just hurry up and tell me no, so because your neighbor wants to buy from me. And just having that mentality of I've got something of value that people out there want. And with my promo business, it's really just staying in touch with my clients and being addressing their needs, being responsive, and being that that guy that they can count on. So that's really been my secret sauce.
Wonderful. And I would imagine then with your team, you have sort of transferred that knowledge to them, right? Is that just really part of how, as a leader in your organization, is that what you're instilling in your team?
Yeah, definitely. And honestly, I'm learning from my team every day. So I think it's really important that we all recognize no one is infallible and no one is omnipotent. And there's even our intern. I learned from her. So there's a lot of things that you can take away from the people around you and making yourself better and constantly improving. And relying on your team and learning from your team is really important. So yeah, there's some great networkers in our group, and I learn from them daily.
Wonderful. So then, as you sort of transition from greeting cards to newspapers into promotional products, just along the way, I'd imagine you also had some great sales leaders in your past who have mentored you. What is the best piece of sales advice that anyone has ever given you?
don't try to be all things to all people, right? It's okay. Client says, "Hey, can you do this?" It's okay to say no. Don't spend half a day, looking for that product that it's outside of your wheelhouse and doesn't, it's not something that you feel comfortable with because, you don't have to be all things to all people. You can, there's other suppliers out there, and do what you do and do it well.
Love that. Couldn't agree more. So then tell me, so it was 2017, you acquired You Name It Specialties from previous ownership. What sort of spearheaded that decision to move from salesperson into ownership?
So I had never really wanted to be a boss. I never wanted to be the owner. I never wanted to start my own business. For 20 years, I was very content, servicing accounts and focusing on that. But I realized, man, I've got a good thing. I've got a great bunch of people that I'm working with. I've got a great environment. We've got a great environment for growth. And the previous owner, Becky, she was looking to retire. And I knew that, with new ownership would come changes. And not only for myself, but I wanted to protect our good thing for the entire group. So another one of the sales reps, Janet and my wife Faith, we came together and decided, we're going to buy the business and we're going to protect, and nurture and grow this.
Wonderful. So then now you've got sort of one foot in both territories because ownership, leadership, and you're still passionate about sales. Is there one of those avenues now? Here we are, 7 years post acquisition. Do you prefer one to the other? Do you still feel like you're a salesperson at heart, or what's your preference now if you should have one?
Well, I mean, there's good things and bad things about both, right? I enjoy sales because really you get paid to make friends, develop relationships and maintain those relationships. So that part of it I really cherish. But I think we've all been in a spot, in a job where we're like, if I was in charge, I'd do that differently, or if I was in charge, I would make that decision. And it's on one hand it's awesome being the guy in charge, but because I can make those changes and I can make I can formulate and mold the work environment the way that I think is best. The problem with that is yeah, it's my responsibility and our our management team's responsibility to provide that environment. So um, I enjoy both. I've got to pick one here, but I got to pick one. I got because it is hard wearing multiple hats. But that there's good things and bad things about both.
Certainly, no, I understand, and just but let's put the sales piece to the side for a second. Let's just talk about you as a leader, the team that you have put together, um, and the culture that you have created. So, congratulations, first of all, on being named the ASI Counselor 2024 Best Place to Work um, in the industry. That's tremendous. So, just kind of walk us through a little bit of what is the secret sauce for building a winning culture, a place that people love to go to work every day, create an environment where employees cherish their time with leadership, want to be there, and want to succeed. Just kind of talk me through that a little bit.
I think the most important thing is get out of the way, right? You wouldn't, you don't bring on a team member if you don't think they're capable, and if you think they're capable, let them be capable. Let them shine. So it's important to me that that each person in our team, we've hired them for a role, and they have a role, and let them fulfill that role, and then also make it known that their voice and their input is valued. And regardless of what role they're in, you may be an intern, you may be, the warehouse manager, you may be, in marketing, but you have input and you have insight that can be valuable in other roles as well. So I think it's just important to get out of the way, and really listen. And there's a lot of other things that go along, and we do have some incentive programs and some recognition stuff, but really it just letting people know that they're heard, seeing them and hearing them.
Wonderful. So then tell me, when you're adding members to the team, and I know this is something that many distributors struggle with. It's not easy in any industry, truly, right now to attract great new talent. I know you have built quite a great team there. Tell me a little bit about the team, and then tell me a little bit about what it is that you're doing to attract that right talent, and if you had any tips on how other distributors can sort of draw fresh talent into the promo industry.
I think the number one thing is to retain. If you're not replacing, the number of people you have to add is usually a lot smaller. So we have very very a small amount of attrition because we listen. So the number one would be focus on the people that you have and make sure that they feel valued and they're heard. Number one, and then number two, if you're doing that, they become the best ambassadors for you because they're telling their friends, they're going home to their family and saying, "Man, I love my job. This is so amazing, such an amazing place." I come in and I really cherish what I'm doing, and then they become ambassadors and they become your recruiters. So we've really had a lot of success with utilizing the network of our team members and them making recommendations. And a lot of times, if you're making a recommendation of someone to your current place of employment, you don't recommend the guy that you met at a bar. You recommend someone that you know is going to do a good job because you're going to be working alongside them. So I think that's utilizing the network of your team members is a really great sales tool. I'm not sales tool, but recruiting tool.
Sure. No, I love that. So then let me kind of same idea, but from a different perspective. So within our industry, there's so many um, businesses that maybe are multi-generational family-owned businesses, or there's plenty of businesses where maybe ownership and leadership is sort of aged out, and there's been a call among sort of the industry that we need to lure new blood into the promotional products industry. And if you didn't know anything about promotional products, and you're considering sort of a career in this industry, what is the piece of advice you would offer to someone who is just, their interest has become piqued into entering this wacky world that we're in?
Well, I think you hit on a great point there. There's just not a lot of prestige in promotional products. You tell somebody, yeah, I sell swag, and they're, oh, okay. Realizing and educating, I think is really important. Our industry is about the same size as the music industry. I mean, it's $26 billion. Like that's not chump change. That's a large, vibrant industry. So I think it's we've had some success with working with a local university, with bringing in some interns, educating them about the industry, and I'll tell you, every person that we brought in and has we've kind of given them some education, they are excited. They're like, wow, this is great. This is amazing. This is wonderful. So really, just I think casting our nets wide and spreading the information, and I think so being mentors, providing us salty dogs. We should do a little better job of being out in the world and sharing and educating the populace about what we do and about the opportunities and just being educators.
Love that. Very good. So then I have to ask, obviously, You Name It Specialties named Facilisgroup Partner of the Year. Congratulations again on that distinction. Very, very, very well deserved. You guys have accomplished so many things over the last number of years, but what is the future of You Name It Specialties? Give us a peek into what you have planned, whether it's the rest of 24 or years down the road. Kind of give us a little peek as to what you're working on.
So, well, the rest of 24, we're still celebrating the honor of being named Partner of the Year. It was a great honor, and we were very humbled. It was honestly, you buy lottery tickets not for really to win the lottery. It's just that short period of time between you buy the ticket and you win the ticket, win the lottery, that you're like, that hope and that, wow, those dreams. And honestly, we had a goal last year, like we want to be Partner of the Year, right? But it was really buying a lottery ticket. So by getting the award, it was like winning the Powerball. So we're still kind of basking in that in that. But as far as future planning, it's really important that we position our company in such a way that as opportunities present themselves, that we can take advantage of those opportunities. whether that's fiscally or within our network and our support. We need to make sure that that we're ready to take the next step and are positioned to take advantage of opportunities. So while I don't know exactly what the future holds, I do know that we're going to continue to be vibrant. We're going to continue to look for opportunity, and we're gonna cheer on the next partner of the year next year.